Hi, this is Gary DeTonencourt from morethanasnapshot.com. In this little tutorial, I'm going to give you some tips about some natural light portrait shooting. So here's my subject, and right now I'm lucky that there are some clouds blocking the sun. So I should not have any problems getting good exposures just using aperture priority and using f4 because I don't need a whole lot of depth of field. And I'm using ISO 400 because there's not a ton of light here. But hopefully in a few minutes the sun will pop up and it'll be really harsh lighting. In that case, your option is to move into the shade. We want open shade. Open shade meaning we have something blocking the harsh sunlight from the subject, but yet some still open area where light can get into that area. Now, there are times when there is no open shade. So in those cases, it really helps to have some diffusion material like this that you can use to block the harsh sun with. The only thing is you'll probably need some sort of a little assistant to help hold that for you. So we'll just wait a second, take a few more shots until we get some harsh sun. And we'll see how that comes out. Right now, it's easy. I can shoot all day with this dim light. Okay, as you can see, we have hard light on the subject. There's a lot of shadow on her face. And if I were to try to take her picture now, it would probably be very harsh light. And that's not really what we're going for here. So, one thing you can do is if you have a diffuser like this, you can hold this up until it is blocking the light from your subject. So we got to move it just into the right position, right? And then we got to get the assistant to be out of the way. Hold it up there, Ava. All right, now that's good. So she's putting my subject in shade. And now I can get down here and zoom in. Look at me, Alyssa. Look at me and smile. Nice. Ava, hold that up a little higher. Yep.
This is hurting my arm.
Just hold it up, thank you. And good. All right, now take it away and we'll see what the harsh light looks like again. Look at me. All right, look at me, Alyssa. It's hard because the harsh light is now in her face. So having a simple diffusion material like this makes it much easier. Of course, it would be great if we had the cloud to block the sun. Or what we could do is put the subject into some open shade. So let's try doing that. We'll bring her into this shade right over here. All right, so now I don't need to have that holding up, but maybe I would like some more light on her face. So if you have a reflector, you can use that to bounce some light back into the shade to light up her face, all right? In this situation, we have the subject in the open shade, which is nice. We could go ahead and take a picture with no problem. And we would get a good exposure. But if we wanted to have a little extra highlight come into the picture, if the sun is facing the subject where we can bounce it back onto her, we can do that with a reflector. So this reflector has a white side and a gold side. Sometimes the gold side can be useful, but it might be too harsh for this situation. So put the subject, come right back there. What you need to do with the reflector is wait till the sun is coming and tilt it just in a certain way where it's going to hold it right there. It's lighting up her face. I can see it's making her face brighter. And I'll come right over here. Look at me, nice smile. Great. Now, Ava, take away the reflector. Turn, yep, and we'll take a shot without it again so you can see the difference. Look at me, Alyssa. Nice. Okay, so here we'll try this again with the gold reflector and see if that makes a difference in tone. All right, so Alyssa, move a little closer to the reflector, please. All right, now look at me. Okay, good. Now, we're going to bring the reflector so that you look at the subject when there's no light hitting her, and then I'm going to tilt the subject. See, now I can see the gold light hitting her. All right, Ava, come hold this right here. Now, the gold side is very strong, so we're going to get a hard gold light on her face. So let's see what that looks like. Turn a little more towards the reflector. No, turn. Turn towards me. Yeah, stop right there. All righty. And there we have it. So there you have using a reflector and a diffuser, and it'll make all of your natural light portraits much better. Now that the shooting is done, let's take a look at the images and see how they compare. In this first example, this image was taken in the harsh sun. You can see that there's harsh shadow lines here and bright sun hitting her on the face. This is okay, but there are many problems. One being the hard light, the others being some shadows under the eyes, no catch lights in the eyes, and of course the bright exposure, and also just uncomfortable for the subject to have to steer into the sun and squint. And so if we compare that to the second image, this image was when we brought the diffusion material in and blocked the sun, so the subject is a bit more in the shade now. And this is the result you get. You get a much softer light. You see, you don't see that hard-edged shadow. And it's easier for the subject to have their eyes open. You can see the eyes are brighter. There's no shadow under the eyes. If we can zoom in here, you can see that there's a little catch light in the eyes from the diffusion material. You can see here in the hard light one, there is no catch light in the eyes. And I think overall this is a much more pleasing image. Also, since it's darker, since the diffusion material made the person a little bit darker, the exposure balance in the foreground to the background is a little bit better. We see a little bit of detail in the background, whereas this one is completely black because the subject was so bright. It's up to you, but I think that this image is much more pleasing. And you can see here the difference. This little part of her was not being blocked by the diffuser. So this is the kind of results we got over here versus this kind of result. So I find this to be much better. And so I recommend using diffusion material whenever you can't get your subject out of the bright sun. All right, so let's take a look at the next part that we did. And in this example, we decided to put the subject into the shade, and so now we're in the open shade, and this is a pretty good picture because now we don't have to deal with that hard sun. It's the trees now that are taking care of that bright sunlight, so we do have a soft light on the subject. The only problem is, without any other help, we still have the dark eyes and no real highlight side to the face. So on this side, we decided to add a reflector over here on the right to bounce the light back onto her face. And this really brightened up her face a bit, especially adding the catch light to her eyes. Here again, you can see the eyes are brighter. You can see the this time it's a reflector, not a diffuser. And so you can see catch light in the eye here and no catch light in the eye here. We can also see that the face is a bit brighter, and to me it's a warmer tone. It's a nicer looking tone. It's got more color in it than that one does. So if you go and buy one of these 5-in-1 reflectors, you will get different colored reflectors, usually white, gold, silver, and a silver and gold. And then you'll also get that diffusion material that you can use when the sun is very bright. And that's how you would use all of that stuff, and I really think that it helps improve natural light photos. So give it a try and let me know what you think. If you like this video, please be sure to hit subscribe down at the bottom so you can see our future videos. Also, you might want to check out the show notes to see my other websites like morethanasnapshot.com, where you can take my online photography class. Also, like us on Facebook so you'll know what's new with morethanasnapshot.com.